The first area that we are going to focus on is television. And the first show that I put on my list is Are You Afraid of the Dark, Season 1. This seems silly because it's an old Nickelodeon kids show that is a horror anthology series, and it is a little bit campy, it is a little bit goofy, it is a little bit kiddie. But the reason that I enjoyed it so much is because it is, in fact, a horror anthology series, and I really am getting more and more into horror. And even though it is very childlike, very goofy, and not very scary, it is nice to have this idea of sitting around a campfire with your friends, telling scary stories, trying to spook each other out, and all around, it was a very fun first season. I also ordered the second season, haven't gotten around to watching it yet, but all around a very fun show. The next TV show is Silicon Valley Season 5, which I can't believe they're already on Season 5. I think that might be wrong. But if you haven't seen Silicon Valley, it is incredible with Thomas Middleditch, Kumail Nanjiani. I can't remember the other people's names. It used to have TJ Miller. But it is a very good comedy, very cringy, and it makes you uncomfortable, but just all around a very funny look at tech folks in Silicon Valley and how they deal with being so uncomfortable and lacking social skills while having to deal with very important meetings and lots of money. Very fun show. Then we got Erie, Indiana, which is a show from 91. I'm not talking about the reboot, which I tried to watch and was bad. The reason I liked this one, I love conspiracies. That's no secret. This show is kind of like this kid going around on his bike in his city looking for conspiracies and solving mysteries, and I absolutely loved it. This came about because Dopeness Monster in the Discord server recommended it, and I said, I remember watching that. And I went ahead, and I don't know if I bought it. I think I did. I bought it on iTunes, and that is just an incredibly fun series to watch. Definitely dated, but still fun. And the thing I think I really like about these older horror anthology shows is that they didn't have all the technology. Nowadays, you could just Google something and you have the answer. But in 91, 94, not everybody nobody had a smartphone. They didn't exist. So they couldn't just Google something. If they wanted to find something out, they'd have to go down to the library, go through encyclopedias, and do all sorts of research, or just think it's a conspiracy. That's why I like them. Next up, we got Wolf Creek Season 1, which is a TV show that I found on the Shudder app, which is Shudder. It is a horror streaming service, like Netflix, but only for horror. And this show takes place in Australia, and there is a serial killer who drives around and kills people. And I loved it so much. I think the cinematography and the environment that they film in is surprisingly beautiful. You always hear of the middle of Australia just being this desolate wasteland, and it definitely does seem like that. But at the same time, there's this peace to it, this tranquility to that dead space in the middle of Australia, which is almost uninhabitable. But in this serene kind of place, there is very violent things happening, and all around. I mean, the female protagonist, she is, first off, very, very beautiful, but more importantly, an incredible actress. And the guy who plays a serial killer, ooh boy, he does it real well. And this is actually part of, I guess there's 2 movies that already exist, which I also watched, which were a lot of fun. I think a little bit, they're not as good as the TV series in my opinion, but if you're looking to get a feel for the middle of Australia and what that environment is like, or you just like a good horror kind of detective mystery almost, absolutely. Wolf Creek Season 1, it is on Shudder. Next, I got Tales from the Crypt. I'm not going to say much here. There's 7 seasons of it. It was HBO. If you do want to watch it, buy it on eBay. You can buy all 7 seasons on DVD for like $20 or $30. And it gave me 3 or 4 months of entertainment in the evenings. Really fun show, lots of stinkers in terms of episodes, but also a lot of really great episodes. So if you're looking for another horror anthology series, Tales from the Crypt, absolutely. Then we got Curb Your Enthusiasm. I tried to watch this a couple of years ago and it did not stick, but I finally got around to watching it, and holy crap. That is some of the cringiest comedy that I have ever seen, and it is so incredibly relatable, and the characters are so unlikable at times. that it makes you physically cringe. It's not just like ooh, I didn't like that. It's actually a physical, visceral reaction to how much cringe is happening and how uncomfortable the situations can be. If you're looking for that, if you like Larry David, if you liked Seinfeld, this is like Seinfeld, but just Larry David all the way, 100% Curb Your Enthusiasm. The entire show was incredible. Then we got F is for Family Season 3. I love Bill Burr. Anybody who loves comedy loves Bill Burr. He is one of the best comedic voices out there right now. Very, very fun and relatable show. I talked about that last week, so I'm not going to go anymore. And then we got X-Files Season 11, and my freaking God. I'm putting it here because I feel obligated to, but Season 11 really wasn't that great. The Darren Morgan episodes were great. I think he only had one, actually, but the rest of it, I just have to put it here because it was such an anticipated event for me, and I did still have fun watching it, even if it wasn't the best representation of the show.